I just wanted to talk to you for a minute about house clearances. Now, I don't mean me coming round with a van and emptying your lounge of everything that's in it. I mean sometimes when people feel that they have a presence or a spirit in their house and they want their house to be cleansed of this energy. Well, and this is where the problem starts. When I get asked to go to people's houses because they feel they have a spirit person in the house, 9 times out of 10, it is a family member of someone in the house that is trying to get a message to them. And there have been some incredibly important things that have come out of that and very moving. Now that's completely different from going into, like, say if you bought a house and you didn't like the energy in there, or you just wanted to establish it as your house. There are several things that you can do. One would be to open all the windows and then go round with a bell or a Tibetan bowl if you happen to have one. If not, just a little hand bell will do that you can pick up anywhere. And give it a good clanging in every corner of each room and in the middle of the room. Because any stale energy is energy. So it's a vibration. So you can break it up with another vibration and it completely dissipates. And then shut the windows and get on putting your furniture where you want them and all the other stuff and all the unpacking that is going to drive you mental before the week's out. That's one type of house clearance. Now, if another one you get, and this is one of the things I hear, and it does bug me. As a medium, I hear and see people who have died all the time. Have done since I was a child, perfectly normal to me as breathing is. Now, if you're in a house and somebody decides to visit you, who incidentally is only going to be somebody who loves you, because frankly, who else is going to make the effort? Because it is a hell of an effort. So if you're in your house and you get a feeling that somebody's there, the first thing is not to panic. Because if you're in a very old house, it can be somebody who loves that house too, and because you've been knocking the walls around or redecorating or talking about moving, they come back and have a look and see what you're doing. That's it. They're just interested because they have a huge emotional attachment to that building. So you talk to them. Anybody in spirit is the same as they were when they were here. Their personality doesn't change. Their character doesn't change. You can talk to them and have the same level of respect for a deceased person as you have for a physical live one. So if there's someone in your house and you're not sure who it is, then you can just stand in here and say, look, I really appreciate the fact that you're here, but it's making me a bit nervous. Would you mind going? Or can you lead me to somebody who can communicate with you, and then I can see what the problem may be. Now sometimes there isn't a problem at all, and you think you're talking to thin air. You are truly not, because they can't hear you. So if you have some well-meaning friend decide that they're going to come round and they're going to waft sage around in your living room and that will get rid of any spirit that's in there, it is not going to work. All the spirit person is going to think is, God, there's a strong smell of sage in here. And they're going to wonder what the hell's the matter with you. If they weren't repelled by sage when they were alive, they're certainly not going to be repelled by it now. What you need to do is find somebody who is a good medium, or at least has half an idea what they're doing, and ask them to come round and see who they feel the person is that's in your house. The times that people immediately think that they've got an evil spirit in their house is mental. Just because a few lights flicker, or there's a knock on the door, or something moves in the lounge, or you feel as if somebody's behind you, sadly, due to all the films and television stuff, we've been indoctrinated to think, oh, it must be an evil spirit. Why would an evil spirit want to visit you? For a start, they're not real. So you have people in spirit who are nasty people when they were alive, and say your Uncle Peter was a complete arse when he was here and nasty to everybody. Well, he won't have changed a great deal, because if he came through with a sanitised version of himself, you'd never believe it was him. So if he chooses to visit you because he had some kind of emotional connection to you, and even though he was a complete pig half the time, actually had some nice moments, you know, and maybe left you something in his will and wants to pop back and see you, that energy that he carried as a person will manifest in your house. You will feel that in your house. So it isn't an evil spirit. It's a bit of a bolshy individual who was like it when he was here. And you should recognise that and say, oh God, that does not feel like I'm Pete. And then talk to him. You say, I don't really know why you're here. Oh yeah, it was your birthday last week. I hope you had a good birthday and everybody's alright, and can you please take care of so and so, whoever it is up there. And even though you were an arse at times, Uncle Pete, I really loved you. Now you would feel the energy completely change to one of being happy. It's a bit like, you know, when you go to somebody's house when they've had a row, and yet when they open the door to you, they're all sweetness and light, but you can feel that they've had a row like minutes before they open the door. That's what it feels like when you've got somebody in your house that's a bit bolshy or unhappy. It's an energy. It's that same kind of feeling in the air. So you can completely change that by just talking. Talk out loud, even if you're not sure who they are. Because, you know, you're not going to get Elvis. Nobody strange is going to visit you. It's either somebody you love or has loved you, or it's someone who used to love the building that you are now living in and hopefully looking after. Because if you're not, they definitely do pop back and have a look. And they always know if you've been doing renovations and things like that. Always seems to kind of unsettle them a bit, and they come and have a look. There is nothing scary about it. Your imagination scares you far more than a spirit person would ever do. In 40 years of dealing with people's haunted houses and buildings and various areas and some of the most horrendous situations, I have never been scared, ever, because I am dealing with a person, and even the most obnoxious live person can be rationalised with and spoken to on some level, and that is exactly the same for a spirit person. In my opinion, you show as much respect for a spirit person as you do a physical one. They are not an entity, and Christ knows how many stupid names people have from. This was a person who lived and loved and died. That's it. A person. So you just speak to whoever's in your house, even if you're not sure there's somebody there. If you want to send a message to your nan, you can be looking at her picture and talk to her. Or you can say out loud, Nan, I'm thinking of you today and I really love you and I miss you. She will get it. Because every connection is an emotional connection through your consciousness. She will get that message. And countless times in readings, people will come through, the spirit person has come through and will tell the person I'm seeing what they said on a particular day and where they were when they said it. I remember one some time ago, and it was the lady's mother, and she came through and she said, can you tell her that on Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. when she was stood in the kitchen drinking her tea out of a stripy mug, and she was crying and she was talking to me, and this is what she said. Now, when I relayed it to the client, she was completely overcome and said yes, that's exactly what she was doing at 5 a.m. on the Tuesday morning, and was absolutely delighted from the confirmation that her mum had heard her. Every conversation you have, every chat you send up, every loving thought that you send up, people you love hear it, they feel it, and they know it's come from you. And you may feel that in a response when you do that, you get that kind of, it's like goosebump rush that goes through your body. That's confirmation. That's always a yes. Always, always a yes. Asking them to help you, look after you, keep you company in the car, they will absolutely do that. I can remember driving back at 1 a.m, pitch dark on the back roads, back country roads, and I began to feel very sleepy and very uneasy about a black BMW car that was following me and was far too close to me for comfort. But I didn't want to speed up because I knew I was tired, and I knew that road very well. I knew there was lots and lots of twisting turns. So I asked someone to come and sit in the car with me. And my brother passed away as a child, as a baby. I've seen many times as an adult. He came and sat in the passenger seat of my car, and he just turned and grinned at me like, I've got you. Now, I don't know what the chap in the black BMW behind me saw, but he suddenly took off and overtook my car and disappeared. So I can only assume that at 1 minute he thought there was a woman driving alone in the car, then all of a sudden there's a man in the car as well. Cheered me up no end. And I got home very quickly, easily and safely. Then he told me he loved me and faded away. Now, you may be lucky enough to see someone sit in your car if you've asked to come and sit with you. You may just feel that they're in there, but you will feel that they're there in response to you asking. Try it. Just try it. Thanks for listening.